We'll do L. Alright. Hey everybody, it's me, John. Mark will be joining us in hopefully just a little bit. And today we're going to be working on the new game, Star Wars Legion, that's coming out. So I am painting up Luke Skywalker for our demo set.
That's Empire Strikes Back, right?
Yes, I believe so. That's the version that comes in that demo set.
Yes.
So yeah.
And the other one is what, Darth Vader over there?
Yep,
That's what
Darth
Mark is
Vader.
doing?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll be working on these as the stream goes on. Let me grab Darth Vader real quick and show him off to you guys.
Well, the good news is Darth Vader is already pre-painted black for you.
Yeah. So with the priming, Mark already has a majority of his work done. Yeah. They're both actually really fantastic models. They're nice and simple, and just a little bit of detail. Not a lot of bit of detail on each one. For just like a 3-part model, each one of them. So these are really cool. But yeah, Mark will be working on this guy, and we'll be doing progress reports as the stream's going by. So if you guys have questions or anything like that, let us know.
So what have you been able to do so far with him?
So I wanted to get a head start, so I made some meaningful steps on the stream with you guys. Okay. So after priming, I did a base coat of this khaki, which is a 50-50 mix of Hammerfall khaki from P3 and I want to say bootstrap leather. Yeah. So that's what I based him with. I did bloodstone brown for the belt and the boots, and I did what is it? I think it's Bogran brown, or no, mediocre for his hair, and I did a basic skin tone where I mixed Cardic flesh, Rin flesh, and a little bit of sanguine base for his basic skin tone, and I used that as the first coat with a brown wash over everything, and the brown wash really kind of tied everything together and pushed some detail out. So now I'm coming back and adding a little bit more contrast in. So I'm basically upping the highlights and adding a little bit more detail through additional colors. So I just finished the first pass of highlights with Luke. So I'm going to come in and do something a little bit brighter. So I'm going to take my original mix of Jackbone and I'm going to add some Men Off White base to it.
Now, did you decide to weather his hair for battle, or because he was like really, his hair was really wet in Empire Strikes Back? Well, now.
So I'm just basically trying to hit that like dirty blonde-ish that he had, and so I wanted to start off with that kind of orangish yellow brown that the mediocre is with the wash. I wanted to see how that did. So now that that's set, I'm going to be able to come back in and kind of darken some things and bring some highlights up. But one of the big things was I also wanted to make sure that both the skin, the hair, and the brown of his outfits all look different outside of the all look different from each other. So that's one of the big things, is using a different base for each one means that I can differentiate all these colors just because of the base that they come from. So there's a little bit some gray browns followed with some like red browns, and then we got that like orangish yellow. So there's all this contrasting color in there while it's still like a relatively muted palette. So I'm going to be working on pushing his khaki uniform up a little bit higher and add a little bit more detail in it, and really kind of push this contrast so you can see all this detail that they ended up putting on this model. So if you guys have questions, feel free to ask. This is the only Legion model that I've painted. We were fortunate enough to have a great volunteer, Matt Blaisdell, paint our demo set for us, and he got it done super quick. So we don't even have to worry about having all that stuff ready for the demo day, which is next Thursday. So next Thursday we'll probably be streaming demos all day. Whenever someone wants to come up and start running them. Hopefully I'll know how to play by then, but I can't guarantee it. So yeah.
So we're gonna do the poll. What color should Darth Vader's lightsaber be?
We are.
If no one says anything, it's blue.
Yeah. Yeah. So Mark's probably going to go with Anakin's traditional lightsaber, excuse me, and go with blue, right?
Yeah.
Right, Joe?
Yeah.
Yes, blue, absolutely. And with Darth Vader, that's.
Yeah.
Now what factions are they going to come out with? That's
So,
what I'm looking forward to.
As of right now, we only know of the two big ones, right? Rebels and Imperial. Now, that being said, they have plenty of options to grow that. We just don't know how they're going to do that, because as of today, they haven't announced any plans of saying, "Hey, look out for Wookiees after the release," right? So Wookiees could easily be part of the Rebel Alliance, or if they wanted to, they can make them their own faction. So we just don't really know what the plan is going to be for it.
I mean, they definitely have to supplement with like the bounty hunters. They're always
Yeah.
Boba Fett should be fun to paint.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine them not doing like bounty hunters either as a sub-faction of Imperial or doing it as their own thing.
Because Darth Vader without hiring a crap ton of bounty hunters isn't a Darth Vader.
Yeah. I was talking to Mark in the car. Like, Admiral Akbar was always one of my favorite characters. Not just because of like the memes and stuff like that have come out because of him, but I just always liked the design of the Mon Calamari.
Especially on the dinner plate.
Especially on the dinner plate. No, I just I think their concept is really cool. I would love to see a model for him. I don't know how likely that is, since he was never really like on the ground as a general.
Or an admiral.
Yeah, so like there's probably going to be some sort of like upgrade card or some sort of interaction with the Rebel fleet at some point where we might see Admiral Akbar, but we may not necessarily get a model for Legion. But even though,
I have a fun story about actually.
yeah.
Do you know of the Old Miss Rebels, the college football team, Mississippi?
No, I'm not a sports person.
Well, Mississippi has known as the Old Miss Rebels, and they had a mascot that was Colonel Sanders, but they had to change it for obvious reasons. And so they were trying to look for a mascot, and some student body, a couple of students wanted Admiral Akbar to lead them, because who better to lead the rebels onto the battlefield than Admiral Akbar?
Yeah.
And I just imagine any time that there was a trick play the other team does, you hear all the intercom Akbar going, "That's a trap!"
Oh, that would be great.
So that's a fun story. That was a fun story. It was, of course, Lucasfilm was like, "No, sorry, we can't have that."
Yeah.
Sign off on that, but it still would have been awesome to see. And a mascot, Admiral Akbar on the sidelines.
It would
I'm
also
sure
make more sense that they would basically be losing every single game and hopefully have a comeback at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Disney owns some sports teams, but it's Disney
do?
owned. Mm-hmm.
And the Anaheim Angels.
And the Ducks.
And the Duck, okay. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense why they made movies about it then.
Well, so they bought those teams after the movies.
Okay.
Wonder why.
Or they made those teams?
Either way, money was spent after the movies for teams.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, just, because they can. So yeah, I'm working on all these highlights and pushing the contrast on his little uniform. And so areas I'm going to focus on are going to be that cross T that you guys heard me talking about. So like the shoulders and the head and the chest are going to be where, usually your eye is going to be drawn. So I'm going to do what I can to kind of push that contrast there and really give you something to look at. Now what that means is I'm going to be adding more highlights to these areas. I mean, obviously if you think about it, light is going to be hitting those areas a lot more, which means they will be brighter and have more contrast. And also if the light's hitting it strongly, it should also give some really cool shadows with the folds and all that. So these areas are going to be brighter, and they're going to have a little bit higher level of highlights, which will also mean that the shadows by default will look much darker.
Now I'm assuming the lightsaber is going to be very easy to, the blade would be very easy to color.
Yeah, the blades I'm kind of looking forward to do, because I haven't done, like, would he still have a green saber? No, he would have a blue saber. Yeah. So he would have a blue saber, and I haven't really done like a lot of blue glowing effects. So like strong blue, because almost always like when I do a glowing effect with blue, it's going to go towards more of a teal, just because you're adding white to it and all that sort of stuff. So it will naturally go to that color.
Matter of fact, in the original 1977 movie, his lightsaber almost came off as teal because of the effect. But then when they went back to the 2004 DVD, they recolored it with made it more dark, more of a clarified blue.
Yeah. So yeah, with focusing on the T, always the elbows and knees are great points to highlight and focus. It's just going to be a natural place for you to look at, especially with this model, especially with him holding that lightsaber. Focusing on those areas is really going to pump up the detail. So yeah. Mark, how's Darth Vader coming?
He's coming along. Let's see if you can even tell if there's a difference real quick.
Yeah. So I gave Mark the option of which character he wanted to paint. Mark windmill slammed down Darth Vader.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess you can kind of see that there's highlighting going on. Mm-hmm. It's a lot harder to see on the camera, but what I'm doing is I'm using coal black to highlight the just basically all black. And what I plan on doing is for the fabric, I'm doing the coal black highlight, and for like the metal plates that he has, the Durasteel, I plan on using the like a darker gray. Basically, if you ever watch Archer, which I always like to reference that, is when he's wearing his turtleneck, you'll see that like dark black blue with all the folds in his sweater, and that's basically what I'm doing with this, is all the like fingers on his gloves. He's got like a frill, a corduroy to all his sleeves and pants. So every time there's a ridge, I just hit it with that coal black. It just makes it pop more, but it's not something that super shows up on the camera. It's significant enough right in front of me, and it's going to be hit with an even harder highlight, but this is just for more of a subtle gradient between ridge and crest. What's the other word I'm looking for? Basically, the deep pockets. There we go. So hopefully I can get
So,
that
yeah.
to go.
I'm in pretty much the final highlight phase, and I am really trying to push that T on him. Yeah, Daniel, that's a good point. They do the same with Venom from Marvel. Usually a glossy black will come off as a little bit of blue.
Now, what do you think would be the from what you've seen so far, what would be the most difficult miniature to paint? Really starting the set.
Me from the starting set, probably like. I think the vehicles are going to be like some of the harder ones to do, and that's for a couple of different reasons. The first being, like especially like the speeder bikes or the ATRTs. Having a rider plus the vehicle itself is giving a lot of different textures and a variety of things to paint. Like, you know, something like Luke, he's pretty simple because, you know, he's wearing this khaki jumpsuit with like brown belt and brown boots. Like it's not a lot of variety of textures, which means it's a lot easier for me to come in and paint the details super quick. So anything that gives you a variety of things to paint will be difficult. But also, in all honesty, probably the Imperial side of the starter set, I think is going to be a lot more difficult because you are painting both extremes. You're painting pure white with the stormtroopers, and then you're painting pure black with Venom. I'm looking at my phone.
Venom in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, Disney, Marvel, come on, it's doable.
So with that note, I'm not sure if you saw, but James Gunn originally wanted a Star Wars homage in the first Guardians of the Galaxy. But he decided against it. Or I'm not sure how much he decided against it and how much like Disney was just like, nah, dog. But yeah, he wanted to link the Star Wars universe and the Marvel universe together.
That's a bit much.
I mean, they've done like crossover stuff before, so.
Yeah. I mean, I know I've mentioned it on a stream before, but there was one where Han Solo crash lands on Earth with Chewbacca, and he eventually and this is like with cowboys and Indians, but he eventually gets like hit by an arrow from one of the Indians and dies, and so Chewbacca's left stranded on the planet Earth with no Han, and he ends up becoming the Legend of Bigfoot.
Really? That's funny.
Since he's definitely able to outlive most humans, he's been around for hundreds of years, wandering around that forest.
That was a somewhat clever comic.
Yeah.
So, I'm assuming Chewbacca would be easy to paint.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, fur is a lot less difficult
Indiana
than some
Jones
people
finds a Falcon.
think.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. Alright, so I think I'm done with Luke's jumpsuit. How's it look, Joe?
Oh, that looks good. I like it.
Alright.
I like it.
So I'm going to move on to the next part, which I think is going to be his skin, because the skin's a little washed out and it's bothering me.
It also looks like he has a tan, so he's like,
Yeah.
I've been out in the sun too long.
Yeah.
Been though in Tatooine far too long without any sunscreen.
I usually find that it's much easier to go like too dark and then build up to light. Oh, good, Kelly. That's yeah, I saw your post and I wasn't sure if you were referring to me or not. I assume so, but alright, so I get to paint Luke's hand.
Oh yeah, or are we gonna decide if he's glove or no
No,
glove?
so Joe has officially said that this is the Empire Strikes Back Luke pre-hand.
Yes. He lost his hand at the end of the battle, so this would be during the battle. So no robotic hand.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of curious if they're going to come out with like multiple versions of Luke. Like, let's say this is just Luke Skywalker. I'm curious if they're going to come out with like Jedi Knight Luke or Jedi Master Luke.
You think they're gonna do like what they did with the Batman game, where it's like the you know, what was the director of the more recent Batmans?
Nolan?
Yeah, Nolan Batman. Are they gonna have? They have it with Joker too. They had like, God dang, I can't remember the names. Dead guy Joker. You know, animated series Joker. Heath Ledger. There we go.
Possibly. Like, I always like to think about it in like War Machine terms, where it will be like, this is Luke 1, and there'll be like a Luke 2 and a 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, what I've done here is I've made a little bit of mix of my original skin tone, and I've added more Rin flesh to it. And I've also made sure that it's fairly watered down, so it's not applying super thick onto the skin, which also means that it's transparent enough to where it's blending with the layer below it. And what this allows me to do is do several small layers that lets me build up to the highlight that I want. And so I turned this sunburnt Luke into, you know,
Non-sunburnt.
yeah, non-sunburnt Luke.
Only one day at the beach with sunscreen Luke.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to see, you know,
Return of the Jedi Luke.
Return of the Jedi Luke. I would also love to see Last Jedi Luke, where like maybe he doesn't even fight at all. He just like, you know, sends copies out to fight for him.
Oh, okay, it is kind of the Jedi way, don't you think? It's like, you know, a war doesn't make one great, as you said.
Yeah. So it would be. I'd love to see all the different versions and their different impacts on this like war game.
Now they also have a New Hope Luke, correct?
Well, I mean, yeah. So they should have a New Hope Luke, but this is definitely Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So usually with skin tones and things like that, I'll probably take a lot more time on it, but probably not for this stream, just because I get really in depth with skin tones, and it can take me a long time to build up a proper color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to finish as much of this model as I can on my stream today. One, so I make sure that it's ready for the demo day. That's next Thursday.
So, see if I'm about ready to show you what the next color up is done for Vader. And keep in mind, like the highlights I'm about to show you are pretty like intense, but they should be more well blended once I'm done getting it all together.
Now, Mark, the difficult would the difficult part be his chest plate with all the colors?
No.
I think it's the cloak.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely the cloak. The chest plate has well-defined boundaries,
Okay.
while the cloak needs to essentially seamlessly combine all the colors you put on it, which can be a little difficult. So right now I'm still I haven't really started blending the colors together very much, but you can see that the cloak stands out a lot more. And even hopefully his cloth, you can see the corduroy pattern a little better now.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's not.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go. And so that's going to get washed into a darker color, though. Oops, sorry, John.
Oh, you're fine. So yeah, Luke is definitely a lot less sun bleached now.
Is the sale over after today? Ah, cool. Hold on. It really is.
So yeah, what did, yeah, New Force. So I mean, it depends on the point system that they use. If the yeah, Kelly, I think we're with the release of Legion on the 22nd, we're getting a lot of organized play kits, and we're hoping to run stuff that weekend. So you can pick it up Thursday. It gives you Thursday, Friday, and Saturday morning to build it up, and then we'll see you guys here at the store for Saturday events.
It's gonna be fun to add that to the Legion tournament day.
Yeah.
That'd be fun to add.
Yeah, Joe, would you play Legion?
Yeah, I would. I think actually, I definitely would give it a shot. You know, Star Wars and it's a miniatures game, so.
Well, we'll get you a demo next Thursday. We'll get it on stream. Does that sound
nice.
good?
Yeah, awesome. Me and you can go at it then.
Yeah.
You can be the Imperials, I'll be the Rebels, and I'll do what I can to
you'll
just,
win.
Get through.
Yeah.
So, hey. So that's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So.
Now we have some miniatures, right? Like not miniatures, but we have some of
The terrain, yeah,
terrain,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so we have a full set of terrain done, and hopefully we're going to have a little bit more by that weekend.
Okay. Now is this still Tatooine, or do we have more going on?
So we're getting an Imperial terrain set, as
Okay.
well as Tatooine. So we should have a whole bunch of awesome stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Now, how about indoor, the shield generator? Not yet?
I thought we had some trees getting done.
Well, I mean, we do have trees over there in the upper
Well, no, like so specific, like indoor trees.
Yeah.
So basically, giant
How
redwoods.
about hogs? Do we have hogs yet?
No porgs yet.
That's it, porgs.
Yet. So.
But they probably will be having porgs. I wonder how that's gonna. If they're gonna incorporate that into
Dude,
the game.
if porgs are a rebel unit, sign me up for rebels for life.
you can just use porgs to swarm like the Imperial Guard Space Marine. Windows let them see it. Let them see us fight all of us.
So one of the things that I noticed with lightening his skin tone up is that I unfortunately went a little too pale. So he looks a little dead flesh-y.
I mean, is this like he's scared of his dad? I would be pale if my dad came at me with a blue lightsaber, right? Blue, everyone, blue.
Red,
No.
red. It's red. Officially, it's red. You could make orange if you wanted, just twist up a bit, but.
So what I'm doing now is I'm making a little bit of a reddish glaze.
Might go Bob Ross.
So just to add a little bit of skin, this is what I was talking about where I can get pretty involved with skin tones. I just want to add a little bit of warmth to his skin that I might have missed out with doing the highlight so starkly. And I'll be applying it to his cheeks, his forehead, and definitely like areas like his neck. And all this does is just basically give him a little bit more life, right? We don't want Luke to look like a zombie running across the board.
Unless it's Halloween and it's zombie Luke.
Yeah.
I mean, it could,
Or
I think it would be Ghost Luke. wouldn't it?
Episode 9 Luke.
Episode 9, yeah, Ghost Luke. Just going around, I don't know what he's gonna do in that movie, but maybe he can, use lightning.
That would be actually pretty hilarious. in me and John's circle of friends, we have a technique of painting called Spooky Scary.
Okay.
And that's just where you paint it white and you wash it the color you want it to be, and then you highlight again with the color you started with.
Yep.
And what it does, it just makes it look like ghosts. And it would just be hilarious to just be like, oh yeah, my entire army is just Force Ghosts. It's like I made Vader a Force Ghost, I made Luke a Force Ghost, and it's just a cop-out way of like making a ghost.
If you brought Yoda into the fold and he's able to use lightning, would that make him a Star Wars version of a necromancer if he has Force Ghosts as his army?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, that's an idea.
It'd be very slawny. It's like, this is my memory of all the Jedi Vader killed.
All those gosh darn Yinglings.
Yeah.
So I'm coming in now and using that little bit of that glaze that I did to darken Luke, and I'm applying it to his hair to turn it from this blonde to a little bit more of a strawberry blonde.
Now, there was a game that Fantasy Flight came out called Nexus Ops. Have you heard of it?
No.
They had these translucent pieces that glowed in the dark when you turn the lights off, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was. So I thought to myself, well, how awesome would it be if they did that with these lightsabers? So that
That'd be pretty cool.
Turn the lights off, then you have the lightsaber brighter. That would be awesome.
I think I painted myself into a corner with all this wash.
So.
Nowhere to go.
So I'm doing some rim lighting on Luke's hair. One, make it read a little bit more like hair. Give it a little bit of a sheen.
So what other miniatures do you have other than Luke? Do you have any more?
So in the demo set, Rebels get 2 units of Rebel Troopers.
Okay.
And these are like the guys on Endor or
Rogue One.
or maybe even Hoth.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do they? Well,
I think Rogue One had those same.
Yeah.
I don't think they were equipped for a frozen planet.
Yeah, so it might be like Rogue One or a little bit like Endor. So you get 2 units of those.
Okay.
You get 1 ATRT, which is a small man-based walker, and then Luke. That's what you get with the Rebels. So where Imperial gets 2 units of Stormtroopers, 2 speeder bikes, and Vader.
Vader, battle me.
Oh yeah. Is this good? Let's see. Can I get it to focus?
You might need to go lower to the table.
Okay, so
There you go.
this is Luke currently. So yeah, things I still have left to do are going to be his blaster, his boots and belts, and his lightsaber. Oh, and the rest of his face.
Gotta heal that sunburn.
Yeah.
Or repair the sunburn.
Yeah, see, his skin tone's much better, Joe.
It is. It's good. It's coming together. Nice. You gonna repaint the base or just keep it?
Yeah. So the base is going to have terrain that matches the rest of the demo set.
Okay.
So yeah, let's work on that lightsaber. Does that sound good, Joe?
Yeah. That's looking forward to that. So what blues are you using?
So I'm going to start with Signar Blue.
Ah.
And so I'm going to thin this down.
You mean that blue milk blue?
What's the name of that island?
I don't know what the name of the island is, but blue milk blue. I know that he drank blue milk in A New Hope. So.
Oh yeah, Mark, can you do a spin of Vader while I'm mixing this blue up?
Yeah, no, I'm doing one thing to troll real quick.
So a little bit is blue. And so this is going to take multiple applications of this blue. It's fairly thinned down.
Let me, almost ready.
And it's going to look pretty solid at first. And I'll slowly be adding more blue. And then lots of white.
Now the white's supposed to make give it that good glowing effect.
Yes, that it's glowing from the inside.
Now you're gonna do it like on toward the inner part of the blade when you do the white or the outer.
So it should, the inside should be white.
Okay.
It's just, however, with a 3D model,
Yeah.
it's hard to get that effect across.
Exactly.
So I might have more of the white towards the bottom of it
Okay.
and bleeding up from there.
So yeah, it's still trying to get that to blend better, but let's see his cloak. Yeah, it's like, hey, check out this primed model. Like you feel like I'm doing. It's like, yeah, it sure is primed, Mark. Good job. You might want to start working on it. Like, but I did.
Oh. This is fantastic, Mark. It's great. Yeah.
So I got the little bit of blue down.
The beginning blue, the foundational blue.
Yep, and then I'm going to be taking a little bit more blue, and I'm going to start mixing it in with the white. Where'd that white go?
You know, I hope that they'd have more lightsaber colors in future movies. That would be fun to see a rainbow.
Yeah,
colors.
well, so I remember Lucas was originally like, hey, there's only like 3 lightsaber colors.
This is boring.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably
and
a special
then-
effects thing back in the day. Maybe.
Well, no. He was saying it had to do with the crystals the Jedi's use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
they
it
still-
was Samuel Jackson that was like, nah, I want a purple one.
And of course, all the Lucas were like, okay.
Oh, no, I mean, Lucas has done that for Samuel L. Jackson multiple times. Like,
Yeah.
one day he called him and was like, Mace Windu's still alive, right? He's like, you want him to be? He's like, yeah. He's like, all right, Mace Windu's alive.
Yeah, so in canon.
Now, granted, it's now in Disney's hands, but before that, Mace Windu was alive.
Mark, you have a compliment. Great priming.
Yeah.
That's from Daniel, I think it's
DeBusk.
the Busk. That's it. I'm not good with the English or any language.
Yep. I work hard on my primes.
So a lot of this now is going to be me slowly working in more and more white to this lightsaber to make sure that one, it's got a nice gradual blend, and then also reads like it's glowing.
So is there a way to get like a paint, like a neon blue, and make it glowing in the dark, or make it
So there's glow-in-the-dark paints for sure.
okay? But you want to do it that way.
No, because I generally don't play my games in the dark.
Yeah, but you can have it set up like in the room in the like in the case, and then when you turn off the lights, you
Yeah.
can see.
I mean, you could, yeah. There's nothing stopping from you
Displaying
doing
it.
that, yeah. About making it your own, but
Hyper crystals, they're called.
yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I remember there was like a big deal because originally they only came in like 3 colors.
The 3 you see in autumn leaves.
Then I think it was the one that introduced me to more lightsaber colors was the video game Jedi Knight.
Yes,
Dark
and
crystals, yeah.
that was after it was discussed that it was possible to do that.
So
So yeah, never stop believing, and you too can convince George Lucas to have whatever.
lightsaber color you want.
Yeah,
If you're big enough star, that is. Because Samuel Jackson he's Samuel Jackson. He wants a people lightsaber, he gets it. So.
so like I said, I am just working in a little bit more white with every go.
It's kind of funny, like I'm reverse dry brushing. Where I put in a black, and then I've taken a brush and just basically had it wipe away the black where it contacts the most, so those highlights poke out a little bit more.
So here's a question: what are you guys' favorite Force ability? that we've seen so far in any of the games or movies?
Knights of the Old Republic, I would always pick Force Stun.
Force Stun?
Yeah, so playing Knights of the Old Republic, I would always do Force Pull.
Okay.
Not Knights of the Old Republic, sorry. Jedi Knight Academy 2.
Ah, yes.
So me and my
did not play
friends,
that.
so it was basically an FPS, but you got to throw around with lightsabers and force powers. And there was a dueling feature to where, like in a match, like if you guys killed each other enough or whatever, a duel would pop up.
Huh.
And it was always etiquette to bow before the duel began. So my opponent would bow, I would force pull him, and then one-shot him by slamming him through the head with my lightsaber.
It reminds me of that line from Game of Thrones, where you didn't play on, you didn't fight honorably, and it's like, no, I didn't, but he did.
Yeah.
Oberon.
So.
I got banned from a lot of servers.
It's a legitimate strategy.
Yeah, it's legitimate, but people don't like it.
Well, etiquette is, I mean, you didn't sign any contracts to be fair.
Correct.
It's like, well, he's honorable. Yeah, but he's also dead.
But yeah, so Force Pull, in my mind, always has a soft spot in my heart.
But yeah,
When I played Jedi Knight and multiplayer, I always chose the neutral side. I had some Dark Forces powers in there and some light side powers, like heal and everything. So I always mixed it up. So.
Mix a little bit more white in here.
Ah, sky blue. So what is your favorite of the Jedi games?
I definitely like the Jedi Knight Academy games because of the FPS feel to them. I never got into KOTOR all that much. I wish I did.
Yeah.
And I wish I got into the MMO version of it. It was just, I wasn't playing MMOs at that time.
I heard the issue, and anyone can feel like correct me if they will, but I heard the issue with the MMO was just not enough content. Like once you basically got past the starting stuff,
Yeah.
you were just starved for stuff to do.
Well, that's disappointing.
Which sadly is.
Yeah, I know that John, my brother Caspian, he downloaded I think it was Jedi Academy. He downloaded like a mod that had more in-depth lightsaber fighting. It was like Star Wars Battles, I think it was called.
I mean, if you're in a universe with fans as fanatic as Star Wars fans, and they don't think you went far enough for the game, you're definitely gonna have a group of people get together and say like, all right, this is what you should have had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Modders. So do you think we're gonna see Dash Rendar in Legions?
I would love it if they did. That was one of the other games that I grew up on was
Rogue One is what or Rogue Squadron is what I grew up on.
I remember Caspian got the first Rogue Squadron back like when it came out on PC. That was 96, 97.
But
that
yeah,
was fun.
I think anything in the expanded universe has a chance of getting there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised of seeing like Thrawn or
Yes. Well, Thrawn is officially canon because of Rebels.
Yeah. So and Dash Rendar is canon too.
Is he?
Yeah, he was in the X-Wing game, which means he's canon.
Okay.
So that'd be cool. I don't think we're going to see like Starkiller or anything like that because I think that's not considered canon right now.
I don't know. I wonder which one of these characters is still in. I think Mara Jade's still in Star Wars Legend. Right.
Yeah.
But Fantasy Flight is doing a very good job of dipping into the expanding universe for those ships and the characters.
Oh yeah, I mean,
the units.
it's a universe that's been around for decades, and it's been largely untapped until more recently.
Oh yeah. So I mean, Fantasy Flight has the pick of the crop when it comes to ships and units. So I'm just planets to go.
And they still managed to make their own. They've actually, like Fantasy Flight, I think, so they just made their own ship and like, yeah, can we do it?
Yeah. Well, I think everything's been grounded in something before, like previously.
Yeah.
But getting a little bit of pure white and then just a touch of blue.
Oh, I forgot to do my done routine and then moving on to the next model. It's like prime, done.
I wonder if we're gonna get the young Han Solo.
We might see some stuff.
I mean, especially with the movie, like it'd probably definitely be close to the movie release if we do see anything.
Oh, Krennic from Rogue One. That would be fun. Paint Krennic's outfit he wore in the Rogue One.
I would love to do. I mean, I would love to see the Rogue One characters be in there. It'd be kind of cool if there was like a character squad for them.
Yeah.
Where you could field them all together.
Do they automatically die at the end of each fight?
Yeah.
that minigun blaster that one of the characters had. That was. Oh, I don't know if it's called minigun blaster, but that really powerful blaster at the end of the film.
It's basically a chain blaster.
A chain blaster would be fun to play with. Or to, just roll the dice and see what happens. See how many stormtroopers you take out in one shot or one attack. So. I'm going to need a Lando and a Bosk.
Yes. I definitely want Bosk.
No.
Even though I'm playing Rebels this time around, I would.
John will betray his comrades for a lizard.
Yeah.
Well, Bosk, of course, is one of the lizard. Is the lizard man of Star Wars.
Yes.
So.
All right, let's see if this is better. Not really. I guess the camera. It's like it's really glossy on the camera. Yeah, it's not dry yet.
Hit it with a heat gun.
Yep, hit it with the heat gun. Now remember, when using the heat gun, make sure it's smoking before you stop.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the lightsaber's coming.
Oh yeah. Oh, fun fact: did you know why they didn't give Luke Skywalker a blue lightsaber in Return of the Jedi?
What is that?
Because when in the Tatooine scene, the blue lightsaber would clash with a light blue sky.
Oh.
So they decided to change it to green for the movie.
Okay.
Because they tried. There was some, I think, a trailer with the blue lightsaber,
Yeah.
And then they decided, we can't. It can't. It's not being shown that well. So.
All right. I'm going to block in the blaster. Do you know what color his holster is, Joe?
No, but I can look it up. Maybe just black. Let's see. Luke Skywalker's blaster holster color and Empire Strikes Back.
All right, so blue, red, switch, red. All right.
Ah, let's see. It looks like to be more of a hero, as opposed to more of a dark tan leather.
Okay, so it's the same as his leather and all that.
Yeah, looks like it.
If I borrow your white.
Yeah, cool.
Here you go. Here's a picture of
Okay, so he's got a silver belt buckle.
let's see if I can get Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back. Just,
Yeah, no, I actually like his Empire Strikes Back outfit a lot, and I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing that for a later edition of Luke.
Here you go. See, just a light brown. So.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. No, I like it. I also like how what they did with the outfits in the Star Wars movies. He went from white, which is innocent, to gray, which was now he's tainted with some experience on his belt, no pun intended. And then he went all black for Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Which was. So I just love that maturity that he had. He transitioned into. Giga-Bites take it like that. Toaster is leather brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the same that I did for the other stuff. I just didn't know how much.
Like how if the contrast is it brighter, is it darker? I mean,
Yeah. So got that done. So got that blocked in. Going to finish blocking in the colors for his blaster, which is black with silver accents, which makes things easy for me. Same with his lightsaber.
Alright.
So it's a good thing, like, when you're painting something for accuracy, like I am right now, to be okay with straying from, like, names of the colors, right? So, like, if something says bootstrap leather, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be the best leather for his boots and all that.
Okay.
I ended up going with Bloodstone Brown because it's got that red in it. And if you guys looked at the screenshots or anything like that of Luke's leather kit, it's definitely got that, like, deep, rich brown to it.
Okay. So you just basically gotta look at the pictures and
Yeah.
then just eye it and see what.
Yeah. Be comfortable with going with the color that's more accurate as
Yeah.
opposed to,
What's said on the bottom.
yeah, or maybe even the color that you're comfortable with.
Well, if you want to paint his outfit completely different in something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright. So then we go. You're red. So I decided to move on from the cloak because basically each time I show it off, it's like, hey, check out this non-progress I'm making. Isn't it nice and shiny from a wash? To actually, I'm going to try to throw on some detail on like his chest piece, his West Boeda.
So yeah,
Nice.
Luke's coming along.
And so I'm on my phone right now looking at what colors he had on there, and I see constricting views. Like, some people say it's red, some people show it's green.
For his lightsaber?
No, for his for his like little chest panel
Yeah.
on certain things.
I always remember it being red.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the lights is red, the other may be blue, but it may turn green and rotate in between the two. Who knows?
So I'm gonna go with just red and blue as the two colors I'm using.
So right now I'm blocking in the eyes. So I just watered down some black and I'm putting it in the eye sockets. So when I add that white to the eyes, it really pops.
Multiple colors used. Is that with Darth Vader?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Still hold this white for a second.
Alright, you can keep it. I don't want it anymore.
Yeah, Mark's going about his lightsaber in the opposite way, where he's starting off with white to build it up,
I'm gonna go in with an ink.
and then, yeah, red ink it.
Alright. So, oh, I guess I do need it again.
Let's see if they had. Yeah, let's see here. Who was that character? Not Dashman. Who was it? Cal Katarn from Dark Forces. If they came out with his character, what would you give him? A green lightsaber, yellow lightsaber, orange?
I don't know that character.
Okay.
Was he a book character? Or?
Well, he was one of the Dark Forces, the Dark Forces 2.
Oh.
He was the character he played.
Still not familiar with that guy.
I mean, he was he was a character that you played, so you don't really. I don't think you know. It's been very memorable. So
So that's slowly drying. I'm kind of picking it up too. Gosh, I feel like every time I'm like, hey, I could try this again and again and again and again. Slowly try to fade that color out. Whew. I jokingly picked Darth Vader just because I thought it'd be funny to be like, prime it and slam it on the table is done, but it's actually a lot more work.
The joke backfires once again.
Yeah, but I'm willing to have a joke backfire just so I can laugh.
Oh, of course. I think I saw in the Star Trek episode where Picard started laughing at the situation, and Vacuum said, I didn't expect that response, and Picard just said, sometimes you just have to give way to the absurd.
Very true.
So, got his I's dotted. That's a bit of a hassle. So what I have left is his silver. Mark, can you grab me a silver?
Would you like the cold steel? Is that fine?
Yeah. Gotta get this a good shake. Gonna come in here and paint Luke's belt buckle.
Alright, Drew, I'll leave up to you to find a place for those puzzles.
What?
I was thinking about
Oh god, that's more than... Yeah, there we go. Ooh, is that fresh? No.
Ooh, Prince. Empire Strikes Back Princess
Yep.
Leia.
Was that?
Empire Strikes Back Princess Leia. will be
Oh,
fun.
once it
That,
dries, it can be...
Yeah.
Which is interesting that she wore that all the way up to best spin, so it's like it must have been really comfortable for her. Cal Katarn is still canon. Oh, is he? Nice. So he probably will be. Oh, he could be then used as a character. That'd be fun. So Dash Rendar, Cal Katarn, the smuggler faction.
Yeah, there. So there might be smugglers to compete against bounty hunters.
Yeah, that would make sense.
I still would like to see a Mandalorian faction
Yeah.
competing with the Empire, and also I think the Star Wars game Empire at War had the Force of Corruption side. This was the first time I saw a third faction.
All right.
Ooh, this guy, I swear.
All right, guys, we are closely wrapping up on our stream. So we are going to end it here. But thank you, everyone, for watching us. And hopefully you will see us streaming next Thursday with our demos. And if you guys are interested in Legion, please come on by. So until next week, goodbye.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Yeah, man, this guy. Nowhere. I mean, I can see it here, but like on camera, it just doesn't look like anything. Like, look at that.